Evening, folks. Brian here, Geomagnetic Earthwatch on Wednesday, January 18, 2023 on our planet. I'm just going to have a random talk about a few things. First, is your family ready? Or is your family too dependent on the system and the man for all their practical and even and especially their mental health needs? Or are they too mentally and even spiritually weak? Are they that fragile and afraid to break away from the system which is spiraling out of control, like being flushed down the toilet? But it's going to come back up as a new system, the Great Reset, the Beast System, that they're going to just cherish and hang on to because they're too afraid to break away from the existing system. Their daily lives depend on it, and they're just too afraid to, well, how am I going to do this, and how am I going to do that, and how am I going to survive and live? And especially difficult for those who are with mental health challenges. The fear can be intense, very intense. And they're too afraid to leave their existing bonds that they're shackled to, as they've learned to be dependent on their entire lives. But we're going through a change, we're going through a shift by many definitions, not just spiritually, first and foremost spiritually, but the system, financially, everything. Now, if you're one of the awoken ones, you really have to maintain your composure and your emotions as you try and guide your family away from the system so you don't see them entrapped by the future beast system that's being set up right now. And it can be very difficult as you're trying to get them to break away from the system they've been dependent on their whole life, the system which is going to fail them and society. And the replacement, in their despair, they're going to welcome without question. Just like without question, a lot of people are believing a lot. You learn a lot about people in society by reading their comments on all these different YouTube channels. And it is really saddening that someone can simply say something without backing it up in any way. And so many people believe in other people. And again, you learn a lot. And when I look at another YouTube channel, I don't so much as look at the content of the channel, but the comments and learning things about people and what they believe in and their weaknesses and how they fall into fear porn. And you don't even have to prove anything anymore. You don't have to present anything. People fall for it. And when you use that as your fear point for years and years and years, all you have to do is say something and people believe in it. They believe. It gets so out of hand, 40 degrees. And they believe. They have no idea. They have no comprehension. They don't know what 40 degrees is. But they believe it, and they form their own little groups, their own little society, their own little Facebook groups following. The 40 degree followers, the 40 degree observers. So, yes, an event is on the horizon, it's on the way. In fact, as I call it, a succession of events. But again, I align my findings, my observations, my daily observations to everything outlined in his playlists as he lays it out in scriptures. That's me, and many of you as well. But there's a lot of people who get sucked into the fear porn con. But there's also a lot of you are catching on to the fear porn con. I went back and I scrolled through all those comments. And a lot of you are catching on. That may be due in part to my recent video and as well as Mr. Ben Davidson's video after my little talk. Some of you are catching on. But the subject of the pole shift is really spreading on the internet. A lot of people are starting to cover it now. I hope they're not falling into the 40 degree con. I hope they have some critical thinking and a little bit of wisdom to figure things out. Truth or lies. But to instill fear in people that in 2 to 8 weeks from now, such bad things are going to happen. To be pushing this con for years, and now we're almost there. Let's see how long you go into hiding for. Let me tell you, folks, about some of his other cons. All right. Some time ago, he tried to sue Google. He's so inept, he has no idea what he was doing. I think he meant YouTube, but he was trying to sue Google for censoring some of his comments and some of his videos. Whatever that means. And in that video, he stated, I'm going to sue Google for crimes against humanity, quote, end quote. So he was comparing getting his knickers all tied up in a knot to murder, extermination, genocide, enslavement, sexual enslavement, torture. That was the basis of his so-called lawsuit against Google. You censored some of my comments. You took some of my comments, so I'm going to sue you on the grounds of murder, mass murder, genocide, sexual enslavement, torture. Here's another one. The con man did a video, but in his video, the screen is completely black. He was faking terminal lung cancer with a fake cough, saying he just came back from his doctor. He has terminal end of life, lung cancer, pleading for money. Do you know how insulting that must be to people who actually lost their loved ones to terminal cancer? And a con man uses this fraud to try and get money from you. And it's sad that a lot of people believe in this bullshit. So I deviated off course a little bit, folks. I'm just giving you some facts. So let's get back on target, shall we? Is your family ready? Is your family ready for the next wave of fear porn? Not from that idiot. No. I'm talking about the other idiot, the government and the mainstream media. Are you ready for the next wave? Have you been watching the news coming out of China? Do you recognize how it's being played, how you're being played right now? Your psyche is being targeted. You are being prepared for the next fear porn campaign. Not by Gene Barry Beards of the Maverick Star Observatory. I'm talking about by the government, by the man, by the system. The pestilence out of China. These are the numbers that they are reporting out of China to try and instill fear. Now, they are saying 4.8 million cases of the per day. And millions could die in China. And yet, they've completely opened up everything to international travel during the Chinese New Year. An increase in 60% in international flights, allowing the, once again, to leave China. And 1/4 of all passengers have been testing positive for the. So once again, they are allowing the spread of the pestilence to spread globally, just like they did in 2019, 2020. Claiming that it's becoming so bad again. Millions of people dying. Get on the planes, go on the Chinese New Year, go see your family wherever. Italy again, United States, Canada, Europe. Go. Do you see what's coming next, people? The Kraken. The deadly Kraken that emerges from the sea and swallows up all the fishermen and their fishing boats. It's coming. Oh, we have more and more cases of the Kraken here. Our hospitals are beginning to fill up. Lots of people operate on your psyche using fear and fear porn. Some to beg for money and get all your money, others to prepare you for what's coming. More mandates, restrictions, lockdowns. Is your family ready for it, folks? Yeah, I find that way too many people are they're too weak. They're too weak. No, I need the system, so I'm going to do what they tell me because I need the system. I can't leave the city. The universe revolves around the city. I can't leave. And I think maybe 95% of the entire global population is going to be that way, falling to their knees in weakness. Yes, I'll accept the new system. Yes, I'll accept the great reset. Yes, I will accept the beast. And yes, I will accept this. And yes, I will worship him. Not him. I'll worship the beast. And I think that's how easy it's going to be. So do you allow yourself, the awoken, to follow the weak? Or do you grasp them and you drag them away, realizing that there will be great conflict within the family unit? So, just, a ramble. Let's change the subject a little bit. Quite often I talk about polycarbonate panels for protecting your vegetables. And this is the material I've been talking about. Okay, it's corrugated. In this case, it's called a twin layer 5mm polycarbonate panel. And it's a plastic-based material that actually deflects the cosmic rays, or rather the secondary showering particles and the UV coming in. And this is what protects you or your vegetables that you're growing. Polycarbonate panels. You see them common on nurseries and greenhouses. Anyway, I often say that polycarbonate panels, people say, what can I do to protect myself from my vegetables? And there you go. So I'm just ranting all over the place today, folks. So one final thing. Again, I'm one of the great many Earth watchmen out there, observers, private, independent, but I'm not. I don't have all these support people helping me, doing my fancy websites and graphics and eye-catching graphics with exaggerated headlines and moderators and all that stuff. And someone made a comment, maybe I should put my links down on my videos so they don't become so mundane. I will do so eventually. I'm getting started, all right? Okay, I go on 4 hours sleep a night. That's all I get. I have an autistic daughter I got to take care of. It takes a lot of my time. And I get a little bit grumpy and grouchy, especially when I see bullshit, fear porn. I got to unleash. What do you think, Jane? You drunk yet? The rest of you fine folks, have a swell day. I'll see you later.